to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Eccles.
It is Saturday night, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. It was actually a pretty nice day today.
Started out that way.
A little drizzly. Little drizzly. The wind's starting to pick up now, so now we're going to get our day that was supposed to be 50 degrees now, we're going to get a wind that blows 98 miles an hour.
Well, it blew the right way because Punxsutawney Phil, today is Groundhog's Day, and he did not see his shadow, which means early spring.
Spring is coming. My wife's trees some of my wife's plants and bushes are already budded out a little bit. And I tell you what, Christmas can come, and then I'm done with the cold. It just doesn't need to be cold. It just does not need to be cold anymore. Mm-hmm. So today we have Mark here. He's joining us, and then we have a special guest. We have Sue. And she's an old pro at podcasts, right?
No, oh, good grief, no.
So, I'll start with Mark, and you can kind of see how we're going to do this. But What have you done the last week that's been Second Amendment related, Mr. Mark?
Besides selling the firearms, I've actually, and you were actually there, you were talking to some people, talking to some folks at the gun counter, encouraging them to, go through the class, get their permits.
Yeah.
The one kid was waiting, and
his buddy bought a gun.
His buddy walks up and gets his gun before his
approval
background check even went through. So that was good that you were there because that's a good reason to get it.
Did you see how I did that too? I said, "You tired of waiting? Here's my card.
Right.
You change your mind, give me a call."
Yep. So it sounds like they're full on into it, and pretty much that was yesterday. Everybody yesterday I sold a gun to asked about the classes. So.
I appreciate it. In fact, I got to bring you guys in some more business cards. I'm going to get some more made up this week.
Good deal.
But my phone has been ringing. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but I've been taking 3 or 4 phone calls a day, and then usually a couple emails. And so I got all kinds of people. I think it's because it's cold outside, kind of. Mm-hmm. No one's doing a lot. No camping yet.
Right.
But I filled up my class for February already, and the class in February is not till the 23rd. And I've already I'm getting ready to open or announce a class in March, and have people on a waiting list for that class. Great. So I'm super excited. So.
Yeah, good for business.
And Sue, what have you done the last week? Well, we haven't seen you for a while. What have you done recently that's been Second Amendment related?
Joined NRA.
There you go.
Yes. And written to the president with regard to gun rights.
Now I feel a little ashamed.
I know.
All I did was rant into the microphone.
But you never know if the emails that you send on your computer, whether they really get to him. I know they go through staffers.
But you still have to send them.
Yes, and I did.
That's good. I mean, that's being really proactive about it. I mean...
And I think that's what more and more people need to do. I mean, they need to do that to the president and the national leaders. But I think people really they forget about some people. They need to focus on the local leaders too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we've ranted on this before, but without getting too far into it, there's Boise's growing and Boise's a changing, and that's where all our laws are made. Mm-hmm. And people think. Nothing against Trump. People think Trump's there. I can relax. It's not the time to relax.
It isn't.
Look what happened to we talked about it before. Look what happened to Washington State. Yeah. Look at the bills that got passed over there.
They flipped really quick too. I mean, it was
really quick. And
they're actually talking. Certain people in Washington and on the eastern section want to divide Washington.
Yeah.
And call it, the eastern part of Washington, call it Liberty.
Right.
Because they're not for everything that's going on. Yeah. Basically in Seattle, that's really what it comes down to.
And the same thing in Oregon, which is where I moved from.
Yeah.
Thank heavens I'm no longer there.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people come into the gun counter and they're just in awe at what we have there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Coming from California. And, I used to think that, and I still sometimes do, it just depends on the person, but
Right.
They're the ones that want out of California because they hate what's going on there.
And that's good. That's I mean, we don't mind people moving to Idaho, but move here for the right reasons. Move here because you want the freedom,
right?
Not because you screwed your state up and you want to move here
and screw our state
up,
and then make this just like what you left,
right?
And those are, I mean, not everyone, but I think a good portion of those people are ones that like moved to Boise. You know what I'm saying? Because they still like they like the, I guess I'm going to say the city living, you know, and I don't include, well, where I live, Buell, really living in the city by any means. And Twin Falls isn't really, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we need to pay attention to our leaders in Twin Falls, though, too, because I think they can flip on us really quick if we're not paying attention. So.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, you put us to shame.
Uh-oh.
You're writing letters and everything. That's good.
Well, it is good. And when the mood hits me, I write.
You need to come. When the mood hits me, I'm going to call you, and you can write a letter for me.
Do the blog for you.
Yeah. You feel like doing? I do a blog. You could do my blog for me. How's that sound?
I don't even know what a blog is. So.
Have you even read?
I read them, but is it just like you just? I don't know what the term blog means. I should say.
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it just like
I'm not a
rant
techie. I write paragraph. I write short stories that aren't fiction.
How much do you pay your editor?
Not much. I pretty much just throw some words down on a piece of paper. My wife, she does medical transcription for a living, and so she knows all the she's all punctuation, spelling, all that stuff, and so I just hand it to her, and then she fixes it for me, which is great because it wouldn't make any sense. Lots of times she looks at me and she's like, "What are you trying to say here?" Because I need to figure out how to redo this whole paragraph. I have random thoughts. I just scratch them down on the paper.
Good for her.
So, yeah, she helps me out. She's started doing my taxes today, and so I was out here trying to hide, and my phone kept ringing. What's this receipt for? What did you buy? What did you get on Amazon? Because I'm not a Oh, great. It's going to be public record now. I'm not a real good, I'm not real organized. I'm not real good at keeping my receipts.
This is the time of year you realize how disorganized you've
every
been
year.
during the year.
I make a promise to myself. I'm going to buy a nice file for every month, and I'm going to put the receipts in there. And at the end of every month, we're going to go through and reconcile everything. And yeah,
done that for the last 3 years, huh?
Yeah.
I've done that for the last 6 years. And sometimes we'll get this receipt that pops up, and I'll be like, she's like, what's this? Equipment.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have said that, I guess. Maybe I'll have to edit that part out.
Hopefully the IRS isn't watching.
There you go.
Right.
So what do you have from thoughts from behind the gun counter? Or did we already kind of touch on it, I guess?
No, I mean, not really. I didn't have much this week. It was a pretty slow week. New guns come in, just we're waiting for a few more from SHOT Show that we're supposed to get.
Okay.
The Glock 43X, the Glock 48, they both came in.
The Glocks.
Not really fond of the color and stuff, but
tell us how you really feel, because you messed with that one with me.
No, it's really gritty. It's kind of,
it feels fake.
It's just, it doesn't move well. Nothing's really, I don't know. I'm just not really keen about it. The 48 I like a little better, but I'm still questioning, I guess, why. If you're gonna have a 48, you might as well just have a 19.
Yeah,
that's the same size. It's a little thinner, but
and you're getting a double stack.
Yeah, you're getting more rounds of the 19, so why not just stick with that?
I don't know. They're making more money than me, so they can do it.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's all about putting out more stuff, appeasing more people.
I think my gun that I want to buy is getting closer, though, because the guy who developed it is actually talking about comparing it with the 43X and all that good stuff. So I think we're getting closer. It's been 3 years in the making, and it was supposed to be out 3 years ago.
Uh-oh.
And I'm waiting to buy the first one when it comes out. If I can find someone in town.
I would say the anticipation is killing you, but you're still here. So
yeah, it's been killing me for 3 years. I'm slowly dying inside.
Yeah.
So, well, Sue.
Yes.
you've taken a couple classes. You've taken the permit class from me.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken the women's class from me. Was that?
No, not the women's class.
Which class did you take from me?
The enhanced.
Just the permit.
Just the enhanced,
That's it.
yep.
Okay, so yeah, you wouldn't have met. Have you met
Okay.
Mark then before?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Man, I get a lot of people, and
So I brought the gun to the session tonight.
there you go.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just in case I was here, I guess.
there you go. So, what did you think of that concealed carry class?
I liked it. I had taken the concealed carry in Oregon to get my permit there. And our class was small,
Right.
which made for the ability to ask a lot of questions and discuss with the other people who are in the class, which is really good. I think you get a chance to see where other people are coming from, and it verifies some thoughts that you have about handling firearms
Right.
and that type of thing. And I loved being able to shoot as much as we were able to do.
Oh wow!
That
we
was-
shot outside here, didn't we?
We
Yeah.
did for.
And it was, if I remember, it was really nice weather.
It
that
was
day.
beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
You don't have all the fumes you're breathing
Oh
in.
yeah, you haven't been to the indoor range,
No,
which is
haven't.
great this time of year.
Yeah.
But
It wears on you.
it wears on you. It's louder. It's not as great to breathe.
Yeah.
I love shooting outdoors. And you caught one of the good classes. The weather was perfect. Sometimes I got about a month where it gets month and a half where it gets pretty warm out there. But
Yeah.
no, it was perfect that day.
It was wonderful, and I brought 2 pistols with me because I wanted to shoot both of them. I wish I'd brought my revolvers as well.
Right. So what did you bring to shoot?
I brought 2 SIGs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
have
into
a-
the SIGs.
Dang.
My little guy is a P938,
938, right
and the
on.
other one is the 229.
Oh, nice.
And I like shooting both of them,
Yeah.
but I love the little guy.
Didn't you
It's
let me
just-
shoot one?
I did.
Yeah. I remember. Which one did I shoot?
229.
Yeah.
That 229's it's a solid pistol. I
It
mean,
is.
It's just a shorter version of a 226, and
But the weight for me, because I'm a woman, I don't have the arm strength, although I'm working on that. And that's why the little guy is much better for me. And I'm pretty darn accurate with it. I'm really pleased with how I can shoot that gun.
I remember. I kind of remember now.
well, if you won the hat, you got to
did
be
win the
accurate.
hat.
You won the hat. Now, which one did you win the hat with? The little one or the big
The
one?
little one.
Yeah.
So if you won the hat, you got to be pretty accurate.
That's right. He's sporting a hat. You wear that around much?
Or at home, I do. Yep.
Yeah. Is it,
I should have brought it tonight.
Is it still in good shape?
Oh,
Do I need to
absolutely.
get you a new one?
It was in such good shape that Doug noticed it today when he was out.
That's right.
Yep,
She's repping.
Yeah.
She's repping for me. I love it. It's great.
That's good.
We'll have to. I'll have to show you my shirts when I get. Getting a bunch of shirts made up. I'll have
Great.
to show you my shirts.
Great.
I don't know if I've got any that.
But the one thing I want to do is put in a range like you've got, because I have property that I can do that with.
How many acres you got?
I have 5.
Oh man.
Oh, nice.
You're
Yeah.
3 more than me.
Yeah.
Well, great.
So that's-
oh man, this is
If
why she wanted.
if she's in Filer, I live in Filer.
Yeah.
This is why she agreed to come on the podcast. This is why
Yeah.
she took my class. She's trying to get the inside line on my business here.
Yeah.
She's gonna say I'm even closer to twin. You don't have to travel as far. I see what you're doing.
No. So we could have what they call, a musical, like the crap game, the wandering crap game. This could be
There
the
you
wandering shooting range
There you
day.
go.
Perfect.
And
There you
just
go.
move from range to range.
So do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you live. So you live outside of Filer then.
Right.
So perfect.
I'm in their development zone, what they call the impact zone,
Okay.
but I'm not within city limits.
So you should be fine. You got plenty of direction one way that you can get
Yes.
away with a range. It's all about, well, you're in Filer. You might actually be able to actually dig down further than me.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I couldn't. I'm actually on
We,
bedrock over there.
Where I'm,
I'm
at,
not.
we
I can
encountered,
go down
we
6
encountered
feet.
some rocks where I'm at. but-
Did you?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you dig what you can and then you bring more dirt in.
Yeah.
And it's just costs money.
That's it.
But you got to make sure you got a good backstop, and then you have
Yeah.
some that run down the sides. So, anyhow, what got you? I mean, how long have you been into guns? How long have you been shooting?
I've probably been actively shooting maybe 5 years, 6
Okay.
years, but I've been interested for longer than that.
Okay,
My late husband had a huge collection of guns.
Nice.
And his son ended up with most of them, which was fine with me, but I kept a .243 rifle, which I absolutely love to shoot. I wish I could shoot it more. And then I've got a .357 Magnum that was his.
nice,
And then I've just added to what I wanted, like the 2
Sure.
SIGs. And
Nice.
it's very nice.
yeah. I have a very nice target pistol. It's a .22. pistol that is really fun to
You
shoot.
can go get yourself a tax stamp and a suppressor for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's excited.
Wow.
That's the other thing I want to get is I want to get a suppressor on one of these guns.
Yeah.
Just to try it and to see how easy it is to shoot and the balance and the weight and all of that.
Right. So I'm kind of envisioning something here. So we don't shoot rifles here just because I got neighbors. I just don't want to go down that road. But we should all get together. You, me, Sue. We could even holler at Tarver because Tarver's got some 22s with a suppressor. If you were interested in trying them, we could go out to like the Filer gravel pits sometime.
Yes.
Spend an hour out there. We shoot rifles.
I would love to do that.
And you said
bet.
you were interested in shotguns, possibly.
Yeah.
We could even show up with some shotguns and.
Well, she showed up with a shotgun today.
She did.
Only because I wasn't sure of you guys, so I just wanted to
Right. No, it's
come armed,
we're
unconcealed.
kind of shady sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we got the AR sitting right there. We're ready to go.
Yes. I shot one of those at the academy.
Oh yeah. So we'll get to the
Yeah.
academy. We'll get to the academy.
Oh.
But so you had your concealed carry permit in Oregon.
Yes, I did.
Is there something that prompted you to do that, or was that something you just decided you just wanted a concealed carry permit? Some people, I mean, if it's a personal reason, it's okay. Some people have all different reasons for pursuing that.
I like to have a gun around.
Sure.
And I don't know why I do. I've never been threatened before. I think because I'm pretty much aware of my surroundings. I practice safe travel, and I travel a lot. But I like guns. And where I lived was Cave Junction, which is a little town west of Grants Pass. When the marijuana got legalized, the crime rate in our little city skyrocketed.
I bet.
And there were home break-ins, there were people stealing things off of people's porches, gas siphoning, and it was all, you could just watch it happen. And I was a volunteer for the sheriff's department as well, and so when people would come in to file complaints, I would see it firsthand.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got it all.
Absolutely firsthand. Yeah. And where I lived was 6 miles out of town. And I watched what was happening to my neighborhood, which is one of the reasons I moved here.
Right.
The marijuana growth was terrible. The people it brought in were scum of the earth. Mm-hmm. They had no respect for their neighbors. They had no respect for the land. They had no respect for people's privacy. So having a weapon on me, and I had the concealed carry, but I never carried until about 5 years ago. And I started carrying concealed because I simply did not feel safe in my own hometown.
That's not right. I mean, that's just horrible.
It is. What kind of class? I'm just curious. What kind of class do you have to take in Oregon to get your concealed carry permit, or do you have to? Or
you do, yes.
Is it as intense as what we do
Oregon
here?
is an open carry state.
Right.
So you can carry openly in places, and there are restrictions like courthouses and post offices.
Right.
But if you want to carry concealed, you must have a permit. And the classes are pretty similar. They spend probably 3 or 4 hours on the legalese of it.
Sure.
What you can and cannot do.
Kind of like
what's
what
legal,
we did here.
Exactly what we did. The shooting part of the class I took was probably maybe 40 minutes. And most people did, at least in the class I was in, which was probably about 8 or 9 people. And we went into his backyard. He had a very small shooting range, nothing as nice as yours and what I want to put in.
Mine's nice.
Yours is nice. Yours is great. I loved it. It was super.
I like Sue.
Yeah. This was like a backdrop of dirt and no targets, no nothing. It was just, it was like a backyard.
Mine was super nice.
It was great. Loved it. So anyway, but then most people didn't have their own weapons, and they used weapons that the instructor had.
Right.
All of which people had difficulty handling because they weren't used to them, and
they weren't fit to them.
They weren't fit to them,
personal
exactly.
Weapons.
Yep.
Did you have to score? Did you have to take a test on the written test on the classroom portion, the law part, and did you have to take a score on a target for the shooting portion? Did you have to do that?
None of that.
Were you required to shoot so many rounds, or they just wanted to know that you were familiar with it?
Just, this is a gun, this is the end you don't stand in front of, and this is the trigger.
Now here's 5 rounds,
yeah,
go
exactly.
bang, bang, bang.
Exactly. It was very limited.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's...
Interesting, because they're not reciprocal for Idaho's enhanced.
Well, they're... They will offer, they used to anyway, I think they will take the class that you have for Idaho's enhanced permit, and if you can go to a bordering county, one that's friendly, because Oregon is a may issue state. They may issue the permit. It is up to the sheriff.
Right.
Okay, even after you jump through all the hoops, where Idaho is a shell issue. So if you jump through all the hoops past the background, Idaho's going to give it to you.
Aha.
So Oregon, and I don't know if they still do, but if you went to a bordering county, one that bordered Idaho, and the sheriff was friendly to it, and you went over there and explained to him that you had the Idaho enhanced permit, and you were able to show the paperwork, a lot of times they would use that as enough of training to issue you a non-resident permit for the state of Oregon. It just boggles my mind that, they aren't necessarily maybe as gun-friendly, I guess. Mm-hmm. But their class seems like it was lacking.
It depends on the county. Now, if you're in the northern
Each
part of the
county
state,
had
like
different-
Eugene or Salem or some of the more liberal counties, they're not as friendly. When you're in
Right.
Josephine or Douglas or Jackson counties, which are the southern end, or even the eastern counties, they're very gun friendly.
Okay, I got you.
That's
So
interesting.
it's an attitude kind of thing.
I wonder if their classes are different in the counties that are unfriendly. I wonder if they
Don't
make more
know.
stringent,
Don't
if it's
care.
like a state requirement,
or if it's like
Yeah.
it's up to each county what they
Right.
want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's interesting.
But the amount of shooting was really minuscule.
Pathetic.
It was pathetic. Which is
Pathetic.
why I loved your class so much, because we really got a chance to shoot.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's-
if you didn't shoot very much,
Yeah.
you go for the enhanced permit and you haven't shot very much, you're tired at the end of the day.
yeah.
You were wore
Yeah.
out. So I'm just going to throw this out there. I was born and raised in Oregon.
My sympathies.
That was a long time ago. I
Yeah.
finished out high school in Filer, but
Was Oregon a state then?
Oh,
yeah, it was. Jeez.
Bird.
That is bird. No, I lived in Umatilla, Hermiston area.
Yeah.
So I was closer to this end, I guess.
Yeah.
I had to suffer through it last summer because that's where I went on vacation, was to the coast, and I hated it because I couldn't take my gun with me. So
Right. I don't know. Well, did you see the restrictions they're trying to issue in over there now?
Yes,
the,
indeed.
the 5-shot.
5
Max,
shots
Yeah,
and
that's
then
just-
20 rounds a month? Oh, my God.
Who in their right mind in the legislature would pass that? Yeah.
The
that's-
same guy that offered
that
it up.
proposed it, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Same guy
just
that
ridiculous.
offered it up. So you got your firearm, and is that when you joined the Neighborhood Watch program?
No, I had been a part of that program.
Okay.
This was when marijuana was starting to become a problem.
Right.
And people were complaining. We had the other thing about Josephine County is a very poor county. Logging left, and most of the well-paying jobs left when logging left, when
Gotcha.
the mills closed. So property taxes have never been increased or rarely increased. So the amount of money people have to spend on public safety is very restricted. So in my rural county, there was no law enforcement. So
Oh,
guess
gotcha.
what
Oh,
happens?
wow.
Guess what happens?
You guys had to take it into your own hands.
Absolutely. So we modeled our program after a
Vigilante.
well, people swore that's what we were doing, but we weren't. We were
Right.
working with the sheriffs. They knew what we were doing. They told us what we could and couldn't do and
Sure.
what to be cautious about. And we knew the areas where problems occurred. So the patrols would go out, usually 2 people in a vehicle. The vehicles were very well marked.
Were they county vehicles or
No,
were they
these
personal?
are private vehicles, but marked with placards on the side and with a revolving light, a yellow light on top.
Okay.
So when we'd go into a neighborhood, people would know that we're not,
Casing their house.
casing the house exactly, which happens a lot and still does, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And that we were armed. We would, be very open about it, but for self-protection. And we were trained not to confront, but just to inquire if something's going on, please move along. And we stopped some people who were, not dangerous, but knew they shouldn't be there. And the fact that we were taking names and numbers and license plates
give you
and
any- did they give
photographs.
you any guff?
Sometimes they did, but most of the time they moved along because they did not. The putting light on a situation
Right.
like that relieves you a lot of
All
problems.
of a sudden, you're in the
Yeah.
area, you're gathering info,
You bet.
and they
And-
don't like that.
And we had cameras and notebooks, and we knew exactly what was going on. So
Okay. And then you'd pass that back on to law
absolutely,
enforcement.
yep.
That's cool.
So it was good. We'd go out late at night, sometimes midnight to 3 a.m, sometimes 10 to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Wow.
So it was just we would vary the
Well,
patrols.
you'd have to, or they're going to
Yeah.
find out when
Right.
you're out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and
Was there a big group of you that did that?
pretty much
Just pretty much everyone in there. Everyone took turns.
people who
People who cared.
Yep,
There's
got
a lot
involved.
of strategy in that,
Yeah.
where it's, varying the times you go out.
I'm gonna
and
start
things, so.
patrolling my 2 acres. Me and my big dog.
Yeah, Murph the protector.
You didn't see. So since you've been, we've got another dog. We got this a Newfoundland, and this thing's like 120 pounds.
Newfies. I love Newfies.
Huge dog.
They are the sweetest breed.
Just massive.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's my guard dog.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Lick you to death.
So, how did you settle on, a SIG? How did you settle on those firearms? Just go out and did you shoot them beforehand? Did someone help you? I mean, I'm just curious.
I was looking for a gun that would fit my hand. I have very small hands.
Sure.
And part of what I wanted was an easy to pull trigger. So I worked with some friends of mine who were Glock aficionados, and I really
everywhere.
did. They're everywhere, exactly. And I liked them. That I could shoot fairly well,
Right.
but they just didn't feel comfortable in my hand. And I shot Smith & Wessons. I knew I wanted a pistol. I didn't want a revolver.
Right.
And so that kind of limited where I was looking. And when I went into a shop and I saw the SIGs, and I pulled it out and I tried the sights and to dry fire in the shop, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. For me, it fit my hand, and it fit the strength of my hand. And so I bought the 229 first, and worked with a gal who was an NRA instructor, and she and I went out to the range in Jackson County, which is a rather Josephine County, which is a really nice gun range for longbow and pistols. And we've spent probably 3 hours out there, and she helped me learn about the gun
Sure.
and to shoot it, and had a great time. And then I thought, I really wanted to carry something concealed, and it's a big honker to start putting in your purse.
Yeah, that one is. Yeah.
That one is, but I liked it, and it was easy to shoot.
Well, bigger guns are easier to learn on.
Yeah.
That they're larger frame guns are easier to learn on than starting off with a small one. But
Most definitely. Yeah.
You did really
Yeah.
well with the small one at the class.
Well, when I found that, I went online because I thought I've got to find something smaller, and I want to stay with SIG because I like the gun.
right.
So I found the little 938, and I went into our local gun shop. There is a gun shop in Cave Junction. And I said, "Can you order this for me? I think this is what I want." He said, "Sure." So he ordered it and brought it in. And when it came in, it just, he took it out of the box, and I said, this just feels good. And it fits in my purse, and I'm accurate with the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I really liked.
I'm not super familiar with SIG, so that was a pretty small gun.
It's a micro, what they call a micro
Yeah.
1911.
Is it like what's the popular one right now? 3.6?
The 380?
365? No.
No, it's not like that.
No, it's more of a 1911, but a miniature one.
Gotcha.
It's a single stack, and it's,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
remember.
seven
So
shots.
like Kimber's
Gotcha.
micro series.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
exactly the same.
I
Just
can't keep track of
yeah.
all the SIG numbers. And
SIG
all
does
the
their
clock
own little
numbers.
flair to it. They have more of a boxier slide than the
Right.
traditional
Yeah.
1911, but
Gotcha.
yeah, it's still a 1911, just micro sized.
Oh, okay. That was just more for my information than anything else. So you ended up getting tired of Oregon and heading out to...
Oh, I'm getting tired of the crime and having to worry if you went downtown and parked your car, if it would be there when you got back.
Right.
It's that bad.
Oh, wow.
Or even if it was there, would there be any gasoline in it because the people were just brazen to go and siphon gas out of people's vehicles.
Gotcha.
So I thought, I'm looking for a place to go that is marijuana free, and Idaho is one of 3 states.
Right.
So I came here and started looking, and I really liked the Twin Falls area. So because I have horses, I have to have property. But now that I have property, I have to have a gun range. So
Perfect. I like it.
I like the way she thinks.
Yes. So you came up here, moved up here, and you participated in something a while back here locally,
yes,
and that was with the Citizens Academy for the Twin Falls City Police.
yes, it was.
Well, we want to hear all about. I saw
I
some
tell
cool
you.
pictures of you in full-on riot gear.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to shoot fully automatic.
We did.
She got to drive the
We did.
cars defensively. Did you get to
Nice.
pit someone in the car?
Yes, we did. They wouldn't let us drive the pit maneuver,
that's
but
no
we were.
fun.
They let us ride along with the guy who knew how to do the pit
Oh,
maneuver.
cool.
Okay.
Well, that's
But we
still
got
cool.
to drive the obstacle course, in their vehicles. And let me tell you, driving those police cars that are designed for that kind of heavy use, that was such fun. Such great fun.
I bet. So tell us about how'd you hear about it, and tell us all about it.
I noticed in one of the news sites, it was an online, I think it was the Channel 11's website, that they were looking for people to fill up the academy. This was like 2 weeks before it began, and to notify this Sergeant Diamond that you were interested and to submit an application. So I did. And what it is, it's 10 weeks, 1 night a week for 3 hours a night. And they start with just an overview of what the police department is, and you meet the chief and you meet some of the key players in the department. Sure. But then the first session that we had was the bomb squad, and so we went out to the
bomb squad
down south where the dump is, and they showed us how they do.
Did you get to blow stuff up?
Oh, you bet. Yeah.
I know quite a few guys from the bomb squad.
Yeah.
Yep. And some things didn't work quite as they had planned. Their robot. I had other ideas on one of the explosions and didn't quite detonate the way they'd wanted it to.
Skynet.
Exactly. But that was the first one. And then the second one that we went to was the SWAT team. We got to go out to the gun range that the SWAT team uses to train on. And we got to shoot pistols and semi-automatics and then a full automatic weapon. And that was, let me tell you, I like to shoot, but shooting an automatic weapon is just... You can't explain it. It's like the minute you pull the trigger, you've got 13 shots that are gone, just gone.
Oh yeah, it happens fast.
And the barrel is pointing somewhere you had no idea it was going to go.
Yeah.
So it takes some training, and I would like to have done a second or third time because then you know what you're feeling exactly and how to control it. But it was just a real treat to do that, and I think people were surprised that some of the women in the class were more accurate than some of the men in the class, which was great.
You know, I find
that doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, you won the hat in the class for the best shot, and I find that I like to have men take the class. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But women are so much. They listen. They listen when it comes to instructing in class. Women listen. They actually listen to what you tell them to do, and they do it. Men will do it once, and then they'll be back to
their old ways.
Their old ways. You don't know. What do you? You don't know nothing. I've been around longer than you have. You know. But
through all of the 10 weeks of training, I just marvel at the attitude that the police officers have. All the men that we worked with and the women in some of the classes were just so helpful and so measured. I guess that's the right term to use, because they're put into situations where you never know what the person on the other side is going to do. You don't know where they're coming from. And these guys really have a control over their own emotions. We didn't, in any of the situations, did we ever see anybody get out of control, except for one guy on the pit maneuver. I mean, he was having too good a time. And I was in the car with him, so it was kind of exciting.
I bet. So did you get to go on like a ride-along at all?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
Yep.
Did you do anything exciting?
Well, it was nonstop.
Did they let you bring your gun?
No. And I'm...
Man.
Yeah. But I think they're told when they go out, if they've got a rider, that they're not going to put us into any situation where... But we get in the car, and the first call is a shoplifting out of Walmart. So, and they're trying to hone in on this guy who's obviously made it out of the parking lot into his car.
Right.
Citizens had reported the license number of the car, which one of the other pursuit officers had checked, and so we knew where the person lived. So our job was, we were going to be part of the pursuit group that met this guy if he was headed home. So we went down to head him off at the pass.
You're like, let's go.
It was really,
Yeah.
It's fun. But the other interesting thing is, I'm kind of not a real good techie, but in the police cars, they have the best system. I'm sure they can make improvements.
The MDCs and stuff.
Oh, exactly. They know latitude, longitude, cross streets. They know, all kinds of information about
as
where
long
you're
as
going,
they're working, they work
where the
good,
other officers are. It's amazing, and I'm so glad they've got that kind of data.
Oh,
They really need it. But we had a barking dog call, and
but it was fun.
It was fun.
You learned a lot. And,
yeah.
Well, that's cool.
The last call of the day, we stopped a drunk driver. And one of the training classes that
you
we
have
had.
To stay in the car, right?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
the whole
that's what I
time. And
figured.
you don't want to get out anyway. You don't know what's going to happen. But one of the classes that we had got two volunteers drunk because they were trying to show us how little alcohol affects people.
Right.
So back in the Hinter room, these two gals were drinking and under supervision. And when they brought them in, they put them through.
I've done that. I've done that before.
Some really fun tests about touching the nose, and then when they do the finger, where your eye is supposed to follow the finger.
The FSTs and stuff. Yeah.
They're looking for a wobble in the eye.
Yeah.
Because and it's totally
astagnus.
Yeah. And you have no control over it. If you are drunk, you have no control over this, and so they can tell. Well, anyway, our last call of the night was a drunk driver, and I got a chance to see this officer.
Right.
And he called for backup, so the guy was pulled over and took him over into a parking lot. I got to watch the whole thing. And then he came back and he sat in the back seat right behind me in our vehicle. So it was kind of interesting.
Was he talking to you?
No. He was waiting to do the breathalyzer test. He'd agreed to do that.
He wasn't super excited.
He was out of state. His vehicle was not licensed. I mean, it was just
he was just racking up charges.
Exactly. It was very interesting. And so I had to go back with because this was the end of the shift. This was like 12:30.
Right.
And so I went back with the backup officer back to pick up my car back at the station while the officer I rode with took the guy and booked him. So he was going to jail overnight.
Wow.
So it was fun. It was nonstop. There was not a dull moment. We were just going from one call to another. It was fun.
Did they buy you dinner?
No, because we met at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
See, the one that I did, they provided dinner for us.
And no donuts. We didn't have any donuts. So
I wasn't going to go to the donut thing.
But I had every officer in the whole area doing FSTs on me.
Really?
So, yeah, because they were doing, it was called a wet lab, basically, where they have a numerous bunch of people come in.
Right.
They have various amounts of alcohol, different people. And then the officers do FSTs, and they have to figure out what level maybe you would be at, just guessing. Mm-hmm. And then you actually do the breathalyzer.
Were you being obnoxious?
Yeah. No. Actually, I hadn't had that much. I mean...
0.08 is what is legally drunk, and the guy that we stopped was 0.16.
Oh, wow.
So he was...
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was well over the limit.
So I got some questions for you since we have this unique opportunity. We have a guy over here that sells guns. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so he deals with all different kinds of people, selling firearms to him and stuff. And I know, I've seen Mark in action. I know he does it what I consider the right way. So you went in to purchase a gun. I mean, did everyone treat you well when you went in to buy your gun? I mean, because you hear a lot of horror stories. I mean, how should someone behind the gun counter treat a female coming in to purchase a gun? Because I hear lots of horror stories. Oh, you don't need that here. You need this revolver. You need this pink gun because it looks
exactly. Yeah.
And I know you don't. I'm not saying you
matches
do
your
that.
purse.
No, yeah. I totally. I hate that.
You've seen it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean. But you were treated fine. You weren't, I guess, taken advantage of. Because that's what I can, or talked down to, because that's what I see and I've heard in the past.
Well, when I first started looking, I did buy a revolver, and I wish I hadn't.
Right. Did they push you into it?
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was a small enough revolver I could conceal carry it.
Right.
But I didn't like it. It was bulky and not what I was really looking for.
Right.
When I got more experience working with people, and I would encourage any woman, if they're interested in shooting, to go to a gun range and talk with people there about trying out different weapons to use.
And I'm going to jump in here. We don't really have any necessarily gun ranges here. They can do that. I mean, they can go to Boise. But, I mean, I do beginner type classes, and it'll cost you a little bit. But, I mean, I'll spend 2 hours with you. I'll bring all my firearms. I will supply the ammo. And you can shoot everything I have, and depending on you, if you have small hands or whatever, I will gather other firearms. I will borrow other firearms for you to shoot, so you have an idea when you go into purchase.
Yep,
so that's something they can do around here.
Yeah.
So firearms are a personal thing.
Mm-hmm. You bet.
And so, what revolver did you get?
A Smith & Wesson.
Okay,
it's a 38 special.
38 was it an air weight?
Yeah.
Those things will rock your world, even the 38. My wife's got one, and it's not bad, but it'll rock your world. So the next time you went, so how did they approach that when you went? Did you just go and say, I want to buy this gun? And
no.
They said you need a revolver.
they did.
I don't know what that noise is. Okay.
They wanted to know what kind of a weapon I wanted.
Right.
And I said, I want something that I can carry with me. And he said, well, then you probably want a revolver. It's a safe gun to carry. Because,
Right.
Gotcha.
I can read between the lines there. I can read between the lines. There was and I'm not picking on law enforcement at all, but I did a class out at Three Creek out in Owyhee County at the school out there. I did an active shooter class for that school, and I did all their permit training so they could actually carry firearms. And it's a little tiny schoolhouse in the middle of nowhere. It's fantastic out there. But the Owyhee County Sheriff, some of the deputies showed up because they wanted to know who was in their neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are going to show up to that school if something happens, and they wanted to know what I was teaching, And so they showed up, and anyhow, I was doing fine, and they left there, and I was talking about, right as they left halfway through the class, and they said, hey, what this guy's telling you is spot on, and you guys listen to him. But then he turned around to walk out, and then he turned back around because he knew we were going to go do some shooting afterwards. And he looks at all the women in the class, and I couldn't believe he said this, and I don't think it was meaning to be mean. It was just what he actually thought. He goes, you guys, I recommend the women shoot revolvers because semi-autos, your lacy sleeves will get caught up in the semi-automatics when you shoot them. And then he turned around and walked out.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And the first thing I did was I stopped what I was doing. I shut down the PowerPoint, and I said, take what he just told you, except for the part, believe the part he said about me, know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But the other part, forget it. I said, you guys can shoot a semi-auto. If that's what you desire, you can run a semi-auto. Mm-hmm. And the last time I looked, no one was wearing lacy sleeves. I mean, what is this, the Victorian days?
Yeah.
I mean, and I just, that just irritated me. That irritated me.
Yes.
And I've actually had women in my class before that shot a revolver, and she was shooting this revolver, and it was just beating her up.
Exactly.
It was beating her up. And I said, ma'am, why don't you try, I'll provide you the ammo. Why don't you shoot one of my like my XDM, my 9mm, shoot that for class. And she goes, oh, Daddy, he'd roll over in his grave if he knew I was shooting a semi-auto. He always told me that women weren't smart enough to shoot them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Handed that and that was her dad that said that.
Yeah.
Handed it to her, showed her a few basic things. And she shot the heck out of that gun. And she loved it when she was done. She goes, I'm never touching that revolver again. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not picking on revolvers, but they're not for everybody.
Exactly.
And so it just, I like to get, a female take on when someone sells you a gun. But it sounds like when you went in for your SIGs, you knew what you wanted.
I knew, exactly.
And you went into that guy and said, this is what I want. Order it for me. You didn't give him a chance to do anything, which is we've talked about when you go to purchase a gun, it pays to do a little bit of research on it.
Exactly.
The thing I encounter a lot is the gal will come in. She won't necessarily be the one looking for the gun. It's her husband that's looking for it, or a boyfriend or whatever.
Right.
And then they're pushing her into getting a certain type of gun or whatever. And I'd rather the woman just show up by herself, and then, I'll kind of diagnose and ask a few questions on maybe what they're comfortable with, and I'll throw a couple out there, let them try it, and let them figure out what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'll help them through it,
and there's a significant difference in triggers.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
That's what sold me on my SIGs.
Yeah.
Some of them are very coarse, and others are just smooth as glass.
Yeah.
And sometimes you really got to find the right gun too, because like my mom, she shoots a little bit, but she has a hard time racking the slide. She's got arthritis or something going on. She's had some wrist surgeries. Has a hard time racking the slide. So you think a revolver would fix that, but yet she doesn't, because of her wrist surgeries. She doesn't have the finger strength to pull that trigger all the way back. Because essentially on a revolver, that kind of is the safety. They're smooth, but they're big and they're heavy.
Exactly.
Yeah, revolver's not always a saving grace as far as arthritis and stuff. Yeah.
And so I did teach her how to kind of maneuver the slide better. And then she doesn't shoot very much, but when she does, she's got a G19 that she put a pink Hogue grip on, because that's what she
Good
wants.
for her.
But you got to find that perfect gun. I mean,
Yeah.
just because you have trouble racking the slide on a semi-auto doesn't mean you're going to be able to pick up a revolver and shoot it either.
Mm-hmm.
And those little revolvers are jumpy. They can be very jumpy. The little snub nose can be horrible.
That's what I've got, and it's
They're beautiful guns, though.
They are nice.
Smith is
Yes,
beautiful.
they are.
That's
Yep.
a beautiful. Those airweights are beautiful little guns. So, you said you had some questions for us. Do you still? We're willing to answer.
yes.
Or the best we can, anyway.
one of the things that I simply want to shoot more.
Okay.
Because I love being able to do that, and I want to be able to use all of my guns at some point. But when I'm concealed carrying, I'm doing it for personal protection.
Sure.
And I hope that I never am in a situation where I have to use my weapon, but I would like to feel that I could if I needed to.
Okay.
My purse has a compartment where the gun goes, and my little SIG fits nicely in there. But I need practice on how to draw it. What do you do? I mean, it's across the chest kind of bag that I carry.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for me to access the compartment, but then it's
What do you do when you...
Exactly. So I would like to do more of that. So maybe a class or something that would do some kind of situational awareness and situational reaction for women who carry concealed. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a purse. It could be on your belt or other places.
Todd and I kind of dabbled in this throughout last summer.
Yeah.
That purse right there is actually one of the. I know it's really fancy purse.
I spent lots of money on it.
That's my Dragon Scale purse.
Yeah, he liked it.
It matches
see
everything,
the hole
right?
in the bottom of it.
So we actually did a couple things where we practiced shooting through the purse with the gun in the purse still.
Depending on what kind of firearm.
Depending on the firearm and different scenarios.
Yeah.
That was just kind of, I guess we just dabbled in it a little bit to kind of get an idea. I thought they went pretty well.
Yeah, they did. So what they ended up being, and it was women-only classes, and it was 3 classes, and it was one every month for 3 months. And what it was is each class built on each other. So the first class we just kind of dialed. I have to look back at my notes again. First class, I think we just dialed in. We got everyone familiar with safety and talked a little bit about some stuff, and then we just dialed everyone in on their shooting. We literally stood on the range. We taught them how to dry fire, how to squeeze the trigger, and kind of troubleshoot. Do some troubleshooting with them.
Right.
Worked on all the basics, got everyone dialed in. That was class 1. Class 2, we went over safety again as usual in every class. Then we spent about 20 minutes, 30 minutes on just dialing, rehashing what we learned in the first class. Because, they all didn't go shoot a bunch between.
Yeah.
So we had to dial them back in again. And then we came back into the classroom and we worked on, that's when we worked on the draw. And we taught them how to draw from their hip at first. And then if they had bags, we taught them how to, and we do a lot of that with an unloaded handgun. We did that with, first we didn't even start with a handgun. We started with a finger gun.
Good, that's good.
And we taught them the draw stroke, the 6 steps to draw, and we did it over. In fact, that target we have hanging on the wall right there, we hung up a bunch of those in the classroom, and we cleared out the chairs, and we worked on that, all the steps for quite a while. And then we went to where you had an unloaded firearm, and we triple checked these firearms first.
Yeah.
Did it in the classroom from an actual holster with an unloaded firearm. And then once we were sure on that, we went out to the range and I let them all load at first, 1 round at a time, and we worked on that. And we did that, and I think we touched on mag changes as well.
A little bit.
That class.
Nice.
And then the third class, we touched on basic shooting again. Then we freshened up on the drawing from the holster again, and more mag changes. And then we did multiple targets and trigger reset. And
nice.
So they kind of started putting all that together. In fact, one of the classes, by then I'd actually bought a shot timer. Were you there?
I wasn't there for the shot timer, but
Oh, you were? No, that was Norm. another guy that helps me. But we did a shot timer, and we played with the shot timer a little bit, and that puts a little bit of added. Once we knew you were somewhat proficient at it, the shot timer actually to time you on how quick you got your gun out and got a shot around on target.
That's perfect.
And that's what we did, and that actually went really well. I am going to we're going to do more of them this summer. We did 2 sets of them, I think, and I'm going to change it up a little bit this year and kind of fine tune.
The one we did a class about, or not the whole class, but towards the end we did shooting from behind cover.
Yeah, we did that too.
Stuff like
Great,
that.
yeah.
So I'm going to dial some of these classes in a little bit.
It's hard. It's hard to get like a ton of stuff into it because it feels like it's overload, and you want to make sure that they get, everybody gets proficient with or comfortable.
We need the
with.
basics.
They need to be comfortable with drawing and certain other things before we move to another step.
So, hand me one of those. I've got these now, and these are actually made for force on force. They're made at shooting at each other.
Yep.
But I'm going to use this. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to incorporate them in some of my classes to where we're not necessarily shooting at each other. I'm still working on insurance for that. But you can actually shoot at targets in your house, in your garage. And so this would be a great step. The way I want to use this would be a great step for when you're learning how to draw your firearm and actually launching a round in the classroom at the target. It'd be great in between. And we also want to get to, on some classes where we teach shooting from, like if someone knocks you over and you're on the ground, how to draw your firearm. And we'd actually do it with these so no one gets hurt. But
great idea.
We're just trying to refine in fact, that's what I'm doing tomorrow morning, actually, sitting down, finding a quiet place.
So, but some advice if somebody's looking to draw from their purse and practice that, you can do that in your home.
You can
unload your firearm, make sure it's unloaded. You can go as far as even getting snap caps that are just a dummy round that don't do anything. Load your gun with the snap cap, make sure it's the actual dummy round. And then just practice that, practice.
But you want to be careful doing that if you haven't had someone show you how to do, because you could develop some bad habits. So what I'm going to offer up to you, because you took the time to come on our podcast, we treat our guests well here at the Patriot Defense Podcast.
We didn't have coffee though.
I don't do coffee.
Well, I do.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
And might be getting a little cool in here too. We'll pick a time sometime. You can come out to the house. Okay, come out and we'll do a bunch of dry fire unloaded stuff. I'll teach you. I'll take a few minutes and we'll just go over it. I'll help you out. And then when it gets warmer, unless I'm having a class, if you just want to shoot sometime, holler at me. Let me know. I'll come out here. I trust you as long as you're willing to sign a waiver.
Yep.
And
use your range until I get mine
that's
installed.
Just for her only. I don't need a bunch of people calling me up saying, so I'd come use my range.
Sue's our special guest.
That's right. She's our special guest. But,
I appreciate that.
VIP.
That's a class that I do want to take, though.
Yeah, and we will that's a class we have to wait for it to be warm.
Yeah.
Because that is one that has to be done outside. They don't allow drawing and firing on indoor range for safety reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going to stretch it out over 3 months, though. I haven't. I don't know. I'm not. Sure
I gave people homework to.
Right.
I don't think they like the homework too much. Nobody brought
the teachers. I don't think.
The
teachers actually did the homework.
Yeah.
There's some teachers in there. They did the homework. But I'll let you know. Kind of. I'm trying to revamp some stuff, and
the muscle memory would stay better, I would think, if it were closer together. Than once a month.
It would.
Absolutely.
It would. I had a bunch of classes scheduled, and so I was like, okay, I can do this weekend.
And it was kind of the first time doing it, so it was kind of like we're just filling it out, trying to see how it worked.
And it worked. We filled the classes.
How did they respond?
Oh, they loved it.
Good. It sounds like they should.
Absolutely loved it. All the women love it, and what's great to have women in classes is they all end up being like buddy, and they just they cheer for each other, and you saw that they clap for each other.
Yeah, and there's it's just impressive because. It's not that they're starting out bad at all. They're not. But the progression through it.
Oh, yeah.
They just get so much better. And
more confident.
And it's, you see the confidence come out. And it's rewarding in that, just.
And they learn that shooting is fun.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fun sport.
We've got to fine tune the holster part. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm thinking.
Oh, and holsters.
Don't
get me started on holsters.
We got to fine tune the holster because there were some holsters that showed up that were just like.
I have a basket full of holsters.
Oh, yeah, you will. If you're a
And
good
I
person,
think
you'll
there
have
should
them.
be a trade day where you just bring everything.
Like a ski swap kind of thing.
Exactly.
Ski swap.
And hope
Holster
that
swap.
somebody
The
is
Patriot-
dumb enough to take some of your
The
stupid
Patriot
holsters.
Defense holster swap. I like it.
Yeah,
Gear swap.
there you go.
I've got a few hanging, or they're sitting on top of my gun safe. So
So you just carry in your purse then?
I do, yep.
Okay. And is that where you got it? Like you said, you had a special concealed carry purse
I do,
with just a
yep.
special pocket in there. Okay.
Yep.
except for when she's coming here, then she
Yeah,
carries.
then I
a
carry the
shotgun.
long
He
gun.
brings the
Yes.
freaking shotgun.
Well, I didn't know what I was getting into, so
No problem. No problem. Any other questions for
Oh,
us?
Peter gave you Black Rifle coffee, and I don't get to drink any.
I smell it. I don't drink coffee, but I
Oh
love
my
this.
goodness!
I want to tell you, one of the classes that we had was a virtual reality class for situational awareness in this academy that I went to.
Did you do that at the college?
At the college.
Yes, I've been
Oh,
through
it
that.
was
That's what I tell
such
you
fun. They pair you up with somebody, and you have weapons that have a laser pointer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hit the target or when you do what you're supposed to do, the target responds.
Yes.
And it is great. I had to shoot somebody in the back, which was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Don't turn your
But-
back on her.
I've
She's
done
got
that, though.
shotgun.
No, but one of
It
the
is very intense. Like
and every situation is different.
It is different.
And the one that I had, my partner and I went into a school, or rather into a business, and there was a commotion in their cafeteria, and a man was beating a woman, and big man, small woman,
Right.
and we walked in, and both of us were armed. We yelled to stop, get off the woman. He refused. He kept his back to us, and I shot him. And what was interesting
There's nothing wrong with that.
there's not, and he was warned, but they preceded that by saying you should never really shoot anybody in the back unless. And my situation was that caveat. And so, but the interesting thing was when I shot him, you could tell where the laser dot was on his back. He responded. I mean, he was on the ground dead.
Yeah.
Got him.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so it
Yeah,
actually
and
like it goes along with what you do.
It is. It's
cool.
really but what it showed you is that the split decisions that your split second decisions that these police officers have to make. I mean, it really ratcheted up my respect for what they do. It's it's amazing.
And the way you take that is that will transfer over to even the regular concealed carry holder, and that should teach you that you have to think about things right now. You have to think. I mean, you almost, I won't say war game because that's the wrong words, but you really need to think about what you're doing because you need to make decisions now that will affect.
Is there another way you can handle it other than
that will
deadly force?
Run these through your head.
Yeah.
You know. So where's your line in the sand? Are you going to get involved? So and granted, they wanted you to a certain extent on the thing that you did, but really, if I walk into a store and someone is at the cash register with a gun and he's getting money, do I want to respond to that?
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
my wife and kids are with me. Maybe they're out in the car.
Yeah.
That guy's just taking money. Now, if I walk into the store or I'm in the store and he's got a gun up to the lady's head, maybe I need to respond then. Maybe that's more. And then when do I respond? Stuff like that that you have to think about.
I've got a video that I want to show you later.
Okay.
It was involved with a concealed carry holder in a Walmart down in Las Vegas, and it's a little graphic, but you don't really see anything.
Okay.
But, with the big mistake that this guy made as a concealed carry holder. So, and that may be something we could talk about.
Was
next
that when
podcast or
was that when they shot the cops and they went into Walmart?
Yes.
Oh, I got you. We can talk about that now. It doesn't matter.
Well,
to me.
it's better to watch the video first because
Okay.
then you can see the mistake that the concealed carry holder.
Yep.
He made a big mistake, very fatal mistake actually, because he got shocked. So.
Because he was only expecting one.
Yes.
Yep. Gotcha. So, you were looking for a women's group to shoot with.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
I don't know that there is one around here anymore.
That's too bad.
I'm not. I don't want to say this, but I've been thinking it over, and I just haven't put it all together in my head. I actually thought about trying to set up something for women.
It doesn't
just
necessarily
to come over and shoot.
have to be an all women's group. I mean, I would
Right.
like to shoot with a group.
Sure, but I think a women's group would probably take hold. And I don't necessarily want to start a club, but I don't know how to do it to use my range. I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. And there's a lot I got to figure out, if that makes any sense. But if I can get something like that going, you'll be the first to know. But
Good.
until then, let me know if you want to shoot. And if
I
I'm
will do
around,
that,
I may
yep.
come out and just shoot with you. Because to be
Great.
honest with you, I need to shoot more than I do, and it gets really boring shooting by yourself.
So how do you order your ammo? Do you order by mail?
Yes, most of it, yeah.
Yeah,
So I order in bulk.
me too.
It's cheaper, and where do you order yours from?
Just drawing a blank.
There's a couple different names.
Yeah.
So do you is it Freedom Munitions?
No.
Check out Octane Munitions out of Utah. And if you're just looking for 9mm
N22
and
and
22, so
243.
I don't know about 22 and 243, but I know I can get 9mm there. I was getting it for almost 13 cents a round,
Oh wow.
and I was buying
Wow.
5,000 rounds. But
Yeah.
I can get it pretty cheap because I work it. Just
Right.
So I don't have to order it, but
Yeah, I usually order twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. I didn't order it this fall. I need to probably do that. I'll wait till I get taxes figured out. 'Cause I don't know.
One thing at a time.
I don't know how
Yes.
that's going to
Yeah.
pan out for me. But
I think that would be fun though to have
set up a group.
a group. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought about that. There's just a lot of things I got to work out. I mean, I really want to, and just a lot of things I need to work out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know if I just do it out of the goodness of my heart. If I just charge a small fee, you can have summer months to come shoot. I don't know. I don't know what to do yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of liability that leaves for me.
Well, and see what the interest level is,
Yeah.
and go from
So.
there.
Let me ask you this. Do you know any other women that you are friends with that you know from right here that like to go out and shoot as well?
I know two, but they are reluctant shooters.
Reluctant.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think if they could get to a class
Have
or
a good
go
time.
out to a range with somebody like me who
Right.
likes to shoot,
Sure.
and they would be hooked, I think.
Okay. I just was
So,
wondering.
yeah.
Sue, I'm jealous. You have friends. I have Mark. Me and Mark are friends. Other than that, I don't have friends.
And you have the bunker
I have the bunker
and
the
your
war room.
and your newfie.
Yeah, and my newfie and I got a Vizsla too.
Yes.
And I like
Good
to
dogs.
do stupid stuff like run in the dark and all kinds of
Yeah.
And the rain.
I'm not with them on that one.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'll come over and do this, but
I was not
Yeah.
feeling that this morning, but I did it anyway. And my legs are going to hurt when I stand up here in just a little while. But so, quick question. This doesn't have anything to do with guns. This has to do, everyone knows I talk about running a little bit. He's going to bring you some coffee, by the way.
nice.
All right.
I was looking at the comments too. So I'm not familiar with the part of Oregon you're from. How were you close to Gold Beach?
No, we're inland from the coast about 60 miles.
Okay.
If you go on Highway 199, you go through Crescent City
Okay.
in California, north end of California, and then you go north on 101.
So you were just over the border.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
trees there, by the way.
Gotcha. Were you down by the place they call Murder Mountain?
You could call any place in Cave Junction Murder Mountain.
Oh,
There's there's
a good one.
You got Netflix?
Yeah.
There's a Netflix show. You should watch it. It's called Murder Mountain, and it's I forget the name of the area down there, but it's part of California where they grow a lot of weed and stuff.
It's probably right across in Siskiyou County.
Pretty interesting show. Anyhow, we won't get into that. Pretty interesting show though. Kind of like their own.
kind of like the podcast is.
The podcast is very interesting. But I tell you what, I think we are done. But we forgot to go over all our contact info. You want to hit that, Mark?
Yeah, I'll hit that. We have the podcast hotline. If you want to call, leave a message, make comments, have questions for any of us, possibly even Sue.
Yeah,
We
I know
can-
how to get a hold of Sue.
We can get a hold of Sue.
We should make Sue a regular on the podcast.
And if you want to do that, call us, leave a message, 1208-696-4397. You can also reach us by email at patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. If you're interested in any classes or anything coming up, if you are potentially into wanting to maybe get a t-shirt in the near future,
That's coming up.
possibly check the patriotdefense13.com. That's our website. Check it out.
And I've ordered a bunch of t-shirts. Not a bunch. Well, it seems like a bunch because they cost me enough. But I've ordered some t-shirts. We're going to kind of put up there 2 different designs. We'll see how they sell. And they're just kind of men's t-shirts. I didn't get any of the nice lady ones yet.
No lace?
No lace.
No lace, no.
No, they have some nice V-necks and some different things. I was looking, because my wife's like, gotta get them cut for them. I'm like, okay, it's a lot of money. It's gotta fund itself, people. So I need to sell some shirts to buy more shirts. And also, we are still trying to get any questions. Ask me anything. Ask Mark anything. Ask Tarver anything. You could even send questions for Sue, and if she's not here, I'll just ask her anything.
Sounds good.
There you go. And
Yep.
we will answer them. I'm not sure when we're going to do that podcast yet, but pretty excited. We've got some more interviews coming up. You're like our second interview ever.
Really?
Yeah. I knew
Right.
you're our second interview to actually come in here and interview.
Yeah.
Aha.
First interview to come
In
in
the
here and interview.
bunker.
In the bunker.
Wow.
In the war room. So there's a new
This
bill.
has been a good one, though.
It has been a good
Yeah.
one. It's been great.
I've been like just totally
Mesmerized.
Into
You
what's
mesmerized
going on.
Mark,
so.
Sue.
Uh-oh. It's a good thing I brought the shotgun.
There you go. So there's actually, real quick, there's a state representative that is drafting a bill right now, and he's gotten quite a bit of support for it. And it's a bill that says in the state of Idaho, if you're a resident of the state of Idaho and you have your enhanced concealed carry permit, that he wants to push for you to be allowed to carry in schools grades K through 12.
I saw that, yes.
And I have actually contacted that gentleman, and his name escapes my brain right now. But I've contacted him, and he is going to give us an interview. He's not going to make it into the war room. He might not even call in during the show, but he's going to call in with me probably and do kind of a one-on-one phone interview, and I'll record that and try to get that out like midweek, this week or next week, hopefully. And then we are also going to talk with Tiger again about the run and gun.
Find out how that all
went, that run and gun over in Kentucky, and see if I can pry some money from my wife's hands. I'm going to go to Kentucky and do that run and gun. So, but until then, everyone, have a good weekend. Thanks for joining us, Sue.
Hey, thank you for asking me. It's been fun.
We appreciate it. I hope we didn't scare you too much. You still nervous?
No, not anymore.
Okay. Well, until then, we will see you guys next week.